these Immortals, I imagine that he's going to think about getting out more lower tech units just to pump them out right now. But no, this Mass Hydra is looking in pretty good shape. Raydric only just trying to get his expansion online, while mOOnGLaDe takes the gold expansion. So mOOnGLaDe not looking to end the game right now, just using his army advantage and income advantage to try and strengthen his position. So I like this play by mOOnGLaDe. He's looking really, really good here while he takes another expansion. So they have 3 expansions into a 4 base. Cluster of Overlords here, just sort of hanging out. But yeah, no, good play here by mOOnGLaDe. I really like that defense. For a moment there, it looked like Raydric was going to get him with that unit composition and the force field drop, especially when he melted the Spearlings. But mOOnGLaDe didn't overcommit, pulled himself back, regrouped with his Hydralisk and Queen, and then defended there. So, but Raydric himself is, in a pretty good position. He's getting his natural online, throwing down some chrono boosts on the economy. So we are seeing his ground units come back online, a line of Zealots and Stalkers. It's just a case of whether they're going to be successful when mOOnGLaDe decides to push out. Both players at this point looking pretty even, but I would give the advantage to mOOnGLaDe because his macro is really kicking in. He's just pumping out Hydralisk. He's got a Spire on the way as well, so he can mix in some Mutas and Corruptors if he does see Colossi coming down, which is well guessed by mOOnGLaDe, because we are seeing Colossi coming in, and we're seeing that Thermal Lance upgrade coming down as well, which will counter the Hydras. But if he gets Corruptors out, they're going to be able to just shred through these Colossi when they start to pop out. So no, very good strategy here by mOOnGLaDe, very solid play. Just a case of when he decides to make the attack, he just seems content to sort of macro up here. Doesn't need to end the game right now. He's quite happy with his position, so why go throw himself at this fortified Protoss position? Especially now that he's seen the robotics build, so he knows that Colossi are going to be on the way. So yeah, pretty big build-up by both players. A lot of Hydras here with a few Speedlings for mOOnGLaDe, while Raydric is massing these tier 1 units with lots and lots of Stalkers and lots of Zealots. I would expect to see Raydric try and do some damage once Thermal Lances is finished, so that he does have that range upgrade on Colossi. But so far, it just seems like he's content to let mOOnGLaDe macro up, who has put Overlord Scouts at all the positions over the map. So just fantastic map control here by mOOnGLaDe. He has not really being harassed much at his gold expansion, so he's looking in fantastic shape, spreading a lot of creep, getting a lot of creep tumors down. I really like this play from mOOnGLaDe. He's just saturated the lower half of the map, and these Corruptors are online, ready to deal with those Colossi when they come. So even though these Hydras are going to be super vulnerable to the Colossi, and we are seeing 2 Colossi online, and they do have the Lancers, so yeah, I am looking forward to how mOOnGLaDe's going to micro this, because his Hydras will be able to melt through these tier 1 units, but they're going to be in serious vulnerability to these Colossi. It's just going to be a case of these Corruptors getting in position when needed. But the utility that getting Corruptors out offers is, now that he's teching up even further, so he's teching to Hive, he's going to be able to think about throwing an advanced Spire down. So if this game really drags on, he can get Broodlords out, which are just a fantastic unit for Zerg and can do so much. We are seeing Raydric move out now, and this forward scout from mOOnGLaDe of positioning of his Overlords is really paying dividends, because you can see that positioning of Raydric's army. Now it's a question of whether Raydric is going to go around the side and try and take out this expansion. These Colossi are going up the cliff. That's the advantage of Colossi. They can just cliff walk and then work on there. We are seeing these Corruptors come into play now, looking to catch these Colossi off guard, while mOOnGLaDe's own Hydra is moving back, doesn't want to fight in this narrow channel, doesn't want to get stuck behind a blob of Stalkers when they're surrounded by Colossi. Meanwhile, Raydric's just content to take out some Overlords, do a little bit of harassment on the Corruptors, but this is just going to come down to a positioning battle. mOOnGLaDe not wanting to get caught out, trying to get the Convex. Now he is moving his Hydras into commit. Now he does have a bit more room. These Corruptors completely flying by and going straight for these Colossi while these Hydras go to work. The Corruptors are actually acting like tanks as well for a lot of shots from the Stalkers, so these Stalkers are just getting shredded by these Hydras, while these Colossi just get completely rubbished by mOOnGLaDe's Corruptors there. Really like that micro movement there by mOOnGLaDe. A lot of damage taken by Raydric. Only got 1 Colossi left, which has just been pumped out, and his Stalker army, all his Zealots were melted basically, and his Colossi were just completely dropped by the Corruptors. So another fantastic defense by mOOnGLaDe. Didn't really take much casualties. He sent his Corruptors in with their increased armor to take most of the shots there. He just flew them straight over the Stalkers, and the Stalkers were firing at the Corruptors for most of that fight. So the Hydras were just free to go to work, which is exactly what you want Hydras to do. They don't really have that much armor to take anything. they're just going to get fried by Colossi and even upgraded Stalkers if they're used correctly. So, no, I like the play from mOOnGLaDe. The unit composition is really quite nice. I feel he does have a big advantage here, and he doesn't want Raydric to get this gold expansion online, so I'd expect to see mOOnGLaDe get a little bit more aggressive soon and start to move out, start to retake the map, and we are seeing another Overseer come down, so I thought we might have been seeing the beginnings of Broodlords, but that Spire is not quite done. We are seeing the Advanced Spire on now, so I imagine we will see some of these Corruptor. Yes, we do. We do see some of them come into Broodlords, so we're going to see massive, massive Broodlords. The only thing is he's sacrificing his Corruptors so he's going to be a bit vulnerable to these Colossi, but he's going to have Broodlords, so he's not going to care. With this many Broodlords supported by this many Hydras, he's going to be absolutely fine. The only danger is if Phoenixes were to come out, but I don't see any Stargates from Raydric, who was just committed to these Colossi, and he's built up another mixture of heavy Colossi, Stalker, Zealot. You know, he does have a good ball, so he has macroed up pretty nicely, and he looks to push out and be aggressive once again, but these Broodlords are just going to wreak havoc once we see the fight go down. And we are seeing these Stalkers and Colossi moving in, these Stalkers being caught a little bit out of position, but the Broodlord's going to work. Raydric immediately recognizes what's going on. Immediately GG's. So those Colossi were just not enough. As soon as Raydric saw the Broodlords, he recognized what was going on, and that was just going to be game over for him. So really nice play there by mOOnGLaDe. I like the fact that he didn't immediately push out. He didn't get jumpy once Raydric basically expended his army a couple of times on the front of his main. mOOnGLaDe was happy to just take the map, macro up, wait until he had high tech units and an absolutely phenomenal advantage, and then he pushed out across the map, and Raydric was just realized that he'd been outmaneuvered. So yeah, really good game there, and that's a wrap. So adios.